fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
Sebastian Maniscalco.
My wife and I went to go see Hamilton on Broadway.
It Ain't Right Tour 2024.
Oh my God, it is amazing. We saw it. Oh, it changed me it changed me. Now, as soon as I hear that, I'm like, I ain't gonna like this.
Sebastian Maniscalco, live on stage in Des Moines, Wells Fargo Arena, December 15th, 2024. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit sebastianlive.com.
Murph and Andy, proudly presented by Ramsey Subaru and BMW of Des Moines. Live and on demand across Iowa everywhere. From the Channel Seed Studios. This is Murph and Andy. Murph and Andy, connected by cellular advantage.
It is Murph and Andy on a Monday here on Iowa Everywhere alongside Andy Fales. I'm Keith Murphy. AD's producing, and Andy, happy Sports Equinox.
What does that mean exactly? Got all the leagues going at the same time?
Only day of the year. Only day of the year. All Big Four. We have Game 3 of the World Series, where the Dodgers lead the Yankees 2-0. We have Monday Night Football between the Giants and Steelers, 11 NBA games, and 8 NHL games. So this is the only day in 2024 we have all four of the big leagues going the Sports Equinox.
Sports Equinox. That makes sense.
Equinox. Sports and more. Straight ahead. Finally, Brendan Sullivan. ISU Idol still drops in the poll. And the daring Porta Potty rescue. All coming up. We are in the Channel Seed Studios, brought to you by Ramsey Subaru and BMW of Des Moines. Speaking of BMW of Des Moines, bought gas for the first time in more than 2 months Saturday on the trip to Iowa City. Can't say enough about the hybrid. Big believer.
The plug-in hybrid is
plug-in hybrid.
Yep.
Yeah, I want both options. I want to be able to be all electric, but I also want the gas when I need it.
On the highway.
And yeah, it worked out well. So thanks, BMW of Des Moines. Let's go high or low since the last show. Simplify your finances with Wealth Charter Retirement and Tax in Ankeny. Andy, go high or low?
I'm going high, and you can see over my shoulder here. You see my Drake jersey here?
I do.
Yeah. I'm not sure what year that is from. I think it's like 2010 or something, but, that's not one of the great classic Drake jerseys. And fortunately, I have a hookup over at the university. I'm replacing it.
There it is.
Nice. That one. Look at that bad boy. Woohoo!
That is the 69 throwback with the red piping.
That is the one. It's going there, and my thanks to Brian Harden and the Drake Athletics department over there.
Beautiful.
Had a nice visit with them, and kind of caught up with everything in their world, and grab that jersey for the background. I also got a Relays pennant. I got to find a place for that. So anyway, that's going to replace that white one from 2010, and it's going to go back in the corner of the closet where it lived all the way up until a few weeks ago when I put it up.
I thought maybe the goal was just to go all Drake back there, but you're going to do a replacement. You're switching one in.
It's going to be a switch, yeah.
Okay, going to be a switch. All right, I'm going to go high as well. And it's Saturday tailgating, this time at Kinnick Stadium. And Andy, it was a reminder to me that sometimes we're too close to the super fans, whether it's sports talk shows or emails or messages we get from Sound Off on Twitter, on Facebook. Sometimes we feel like, oh, yeah, hey, lost at Michigan State. Fans have checked out. Season's over. No one cares anymore. That could not have been more wrong. There might be some apathy somewhere, but it was a reminder to me that we don't get many Saturdays, like in the case of the Iowa Hawkeyes, 7 home Saturdays. These fans on a beautiful day in October, they could not have been more spirited or happy about the day and the tailgating. And then, of course, the football game turned out to be positive too. But even even in the morning, even in the early afternoon, these fans were fired up just to be with friends and family and to be reminded of our similarities instead of our differences. And it was a beautiful scene, and I had a blast. And it reminded me again, like we get on RVTV sometimes, we're too close to it. We think everybody's just living or dying with whether the team can reach all the goals. No, for the most part, it's a big party.
Yeah, and we hear from the extremists and the squeaky wheels, and it seems like, everybody feels that way at times because they are the loudest. But in fact, they're just that. They're the extremists, and many of them are. And the way they become heard is by yelling the loudest and being the most bombastic. And for the most part, everybody else is just in it for a good time. Iowa State does not have a monopoly on great tailgating. They've got great tailgating over in Iowa City as well, as you saw there, Murph, and all your Hawkeye gear.
The mixed gym.
No, you got Hawkeye gear on there. You're going all Hawkeye. But that's cool. You got you went over there and you had a good time. You gotta get into the middle of it, right? And be with the people.
Is that Travis Justice with you there?
That's Taco.
Picture? Oh, okay.
Taco Justice?
No, not Taco Justice, just Taco. Kelly Hakes, good friend. And sold us some tickets there in the north end zone, which is a great place to watch a game. And we went to the Swarm bus and the Fry bus, and Taco drove us to and from the tailgate. He doesn't drink, so second straight tailgating weekend with a designated driver. What have I done so right in life to deserve all this?
That's a good friend to have, right? Somebody who's fun, gets it, but just doesn't drink. I wonder if those people get sick of being the designated driver, though, right?
Probably.
They get used by their friends.
He was great. We had such a fun time. And I also saw, as you might have known by now, one of the most daring rescues ever. It is the phone dropped into the porta potty rescue.
Yeah, I have questions about this.
Okay,
let's go ahead.
I will try to get you some answers. I don't have all the answers. I have gotten some. So I'm in a lengthy line, and I'm in line with a lady. We call her Sweet Diva because she makes cookies and treats, and we often have them at our parties. The Sweet Diva is she's very, very talented baker. So
they have like cannabis in them and stuff.
No, not that I'm aware. Although they're so good, maybe that's why I like them. I didn't know, and
you can't
here
stop
it is.
Eating afterwards.
Perhaps. I'm in line, and I don't bring my phone with me. I leave it with Jenny for this very reason of, just not wanting it in the
so you could be more engaged with the people right around you.
And so I don't drop my phone into the blue toilet water, which is now brown. I mean, these porta potties get nasty pretty quick at a college tailgate. And this is a long line. So where there's two stalls near our tailgate, and the one on the left, people are still coming in and out of, but I start to pick up on this conversation where a gentleman is offering cash if anybody is willing to go into the porta potty and pull his phone
Why did you call him a gentleman in this case?
He was
wearing a top hat with a cane and white gloves?
He was in a tuxedo. Yeah,
was he a man or a boy?
He was a man.
Okay, a man.
He was a man.
Right, a man.
Yes, he was a man. And hopefully he was a
You didn't watch him
man.
eat soup or anything like that.
No.
You have no idea if he's a gentleman. In fact, he's reaching into a shitter, isn't he?
Well, he's not. He's hiring somebody because he's
somebody.
He's more at the age where he's willing to pay to have someone get the phone, but he doesn't want to get the phone. And where are you most likely to find somebody willing to do this? Well, at a tailgate with a bunch of college students.
This is the guy that lost the phone?
The guy that lost the phone.
Wait, did he eat the phone and then he crapped it into the Kaibo?
No,
or did
Andy, he didn't crap the phone out into the porta potty. He dropped it into the porta potty.
Yeah, he broke rule number one, which is the phone stays in your pocket in the porta potty. You don't need to scroll Twitter that bad.
No.
I think rule number one is like, don't sit down in the porta potty, right?
Yeah.
Don't put yourself in that position.
I don't know that he was sitting. That's information I don't have. He could have been, some people.
My guess is he was at the urinal, kind of scrolling his phone over
side
to the side
urinal,
and
that
it
falls. Little like beer funnel, urinal funnel
That's
there on the side, and then it dropped it.
I pee into the side funnel. Do you go side funnel or do you go the big splash?
If
Side
there's
funnel?
a choice,
Side
you
funnel.
got to go side funnel.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, the first thing I do is shut the lid on that thing. Then I go side funnel because I don't even want to be in there like the turds within sight.
Now, do you take toilet paper to close the lid or are you touching that thing?
I just use my foot and kick it down.
Oh, okay. All right. So you've got a system. So the man is making an offer, and a kid, a young man, not a kid, a young man says, "I'll do it for $250.
$250.
Yep. So then I watch the two of them negotiate, and they shake hands. Important here to shake hands before you do this.
No
Don't
doubt.
wait till after. Yeah.
Well, and I don't know. I mean, I think the kid is safe because if he gets it out and the guy doesn't pay, then you just put that thing right back where you found it.
So a cheer goes up. I asked Sweet Diva, would you mind getting video of this? And she says, sure. And we have that video if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not, more people are all the time. Please join us on our YouTube feed. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you would. Helps us out. Anyway, so she starts videoing it. The guy goes in. Everybody's standing around to watch this. He puts his whole arm into a trash bag. So he's not, technically probably not getting anything on him, right?
He takes his shirt off first, right?
Yeah. Do you have video of this?
Maybe he
AD?
showed up shirtless. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So he's gonna.
Okay.
Yeah, he takes his shirt off.
I thought he was, because you wrote.
There it is. There's the phone. Took
So
his
he did
shirt off,
one.
put his
He
arm
did
in the
it one
garbage
armed.
bag.
One armed.
Yep, one arm.
Yeah,
He went in with
okay.
one arm. He's fishing all around in there. He comes over. He sets the phone down. Now I have questions like, would you ever use this phone again? Why? Like, I can't imagine you can sterilize this enough to ever want to use it again. So the owner of the phone said all of his family's game tickets were on that phone in the digital thing. And what he had to do was re-engage it, make sure everything's transferred into the cloud, and the phone is going to be immediately retired. But he needed to get everything off that phone. That's why he made the offer.
Look at
I
this
think
hero.
that's well, you sent it to me with a caption underneath it that said Train Spotting, which of course is one of my favorite movies. And it's just a classic scene where Ewan McGregor is trying to come off heroin. So he uses a couple of opium suppositories, but then the heroin is disengaging from his bowels, and so it gives him the shits really bad. So he has to use his toilet in this disgusting bathroom in Scotland, and he grabs the suppositories out before they've dissolved. He's like, "Oh God, I got to get him," and so then he has to reach into the toilet, that's disgusting toilet, and get him. And that's what that guy looked like. I thought you were like implying at the beginning of the video, it does look to me like the guy is going to like enter the toilet. Like he's going to go scuba diving into the toilet. Cause I'm thinking Train Spotting. Oh, this guy's going heels up any moment. And then I'm like, oh, he's trying to find something in there. He's going to be able to just grab it. But, cause I had no idea what the guy is doing at first. I mean, it's a college campus.
Yeah.
On a drinking day. So anything is possible at that point. But, kudos, the ingenuity of a college kid with no money knows no bounds. I think we've all been there at some point. I told you about how I used to drink bottles of mustard over at Zim's for $5 so I could have drinking money. But this is next level.
Imagine the Saturday he had.
It's so that the phone doesn't look like it is all turted up.
No, it looks
pretty
more
clean.
like it's got that bluish, greenish crap that they put into the water.
That must just have so much acid in it or something to eat up all the, what's.
The owner of the phone said he also
God knows what.
He's invited the young man to their tailgate next week just to celebrate his
get some hand
daring
sanitizer.
do. I hear somebody calling the name Gage. I don't know that his name is Gage, but that is what it seems. Interact with us on YouTube. You can email Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com, and on X it's Murph_Andy. It's all powered by the Cellular Advantage with 32 locations during US Days. It's October. What is the date today? It's October 28th. And whose dogs are barking?
Well, they're not mine.
They're not mine. I think they're yours, Murph.
No. I heard. You don't hear barking dogs. I heard barking dogs.
I did hear barking dogs.
You think that's my dogs?
My dogs are bigger than that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're gonna get.
My dogs are invisible.
Yeah,
we'll see those.
Henry's dogs are no dogs.
We'll see those dogs.
Somebody's
in a little
neighbors,
bit.
maybe.
Let's get the buzz here on a Monday.
The Buzz. Brought to you by Logier Heating and Cooling.
Well, winter is coming, allegedly, but record high temperatures expected again this week. So it is a good time to contact Logier, as we've all done, and get the checkup that you need. But man,
it's so warm today. It's so
crazy.
Warm. Yeah,
it's hot in my office here.
No, but this is the time you book them, because once it does turn to cold, they will be booked up for a month, right? It's just going to be, it's just human nature the way they do it. But yeah, get on their list right now. Get your furnace all checked up, so when you need it, you got it.
Iowa routs Northwestern 40-14. The Hawkeyes scored 37 unanswered points once Brendan Sullivan replaced Cade McNamara, or 35 actually. There was a safety in there too. And the running game really opened up once Sullivan was put into the game for the great Caleb Johnson, who had another outstanding afternoon. So let's go to the rewind here. Iowa's leading 3-0 in the second quarter when Cade McNamara is bailed out by a questionable roughing the passer call. AD, I heard you talking about this on Instant Iowa. Jenny and I listened on our way, enjoyed the show again. On our way back to Des Moines, we listened to Instant Iowa. And this is, I know we're getting to the point where you can't hit a quarterback anymore,
Right.
but that he's really bailed out by this, because this is one of the worst passes I've ever seen a major quarterback throw. He's just on his back heels throwing it up for grabs.
It's his worst throw as a Hawkeye, and that's saying something. You knew as soon as it came out of his hand, it was getting intercepted. And at first you think, oh, maybe he was getting hit as he threw it, and that's what happened. And then you see the replay, and no, the hit comes after the throw. And it was a pretty questionable roughing the passer call. If I was because I put that out on Twitter, and a lot of people were like, wow, this is textbook. He drives into him. Okay, but if that happened reverse, I would have been pissed. If I was a Northwestern fan, I would not have thought that was roughing the passer.
Yeah, and he didn't have the laces again. And this is not a quick throw. This is a deep throw, and he's throwing it without the laces, which we've already gotten into. But anyway, the roughing the passer, deserved or not, does bail that interception out, but not the next one, because McNamara then throws another bad pass.
Third down, McNamara, that's intercepted. Theron Johnson of Northwestern. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Wildcats.
Audio is courtesy of the Big Ten Network. AD, I don't know if you can back that up again or not, because I'm in the stands, and I can tell you there was a lot of full-throated booing after that. Can you hear it at the end of the interception?
He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Wildcats.
Yeah.
You can absolutely hear it. Yeah, you
it's
can
even
hear it on
louder in
TV,
person.
and it's so weird on TV because, of course, the announcers don't say anything. My God, the announcers on these Big Ten Network games, it's like they are so afraid to say anything true, anything true that might
work for the
upset
Big
somebody.
Ten. They work for the Big Ten, and they have to be approved by the schools in order to do the game.
Which is
there's
just
power over the announcers. There is.
You know, all of those things can be true, and they can still have the license to report what's in front of them. They were booing the quarterback. The Iowa fans were booing the quarterback.
And rightfully so. That moment was like a low point for me in several years as a Hawkeye fan. It really, pair that first quarter with the game last week, and all of a sudden it's like, man, what are we doing here? And I'm a coach defender. It takes me a long time to kind of go to the dark side. I even texted Hassel. I was like, man, you're going to have to pull me out of the doldrums here, because
that's the guy to call.
Yeah, right.
Call
yeah,
him.
exactly.
That's how extreme
optimism.
it was. Yeah,
that's
right.
as bad as I felt as a Hawkeye fan in a long time.
Because go ahead, Murph.
The fans really and I know this is semantics, but they're really booing the fact that he's still in there. They're like, what are you doing? Get this guy out of the game. What is it going to take to at least give the other guy a chance? And I know if you're Cade McNamara, that's indistinguishable. It still feels like you're being booed for your bad pass. And on some level you are, but mostly I take that as a trying to get the attention of the coaching staff. What are you doing?
Yeah, which is what booing is supposed to be. You're trying to get the attention of the team, whether it's, the quarterback or the coach or the general manager or even the owner in some cases. I mean, that's fans' right. That's their voice there. That pass was, I just think that pass kind of spoke volumes because, I mean, not only was he in there clearly after the point that it was clear that he was not going to be a good quarterback that day, but that was a play that he literally did not have an open receiver. I mean, you go back and you look at that play, it was really well defended. He's rolling to his right a little bit, and then he still decides to throw it. Like he had given up on the situation. Like even, taking a knee or just chucking the ball as hard as you can out of bounds, all of those things are preferable to what he did. And he knows that. And he still tries to throw it to the fingertips of a well-covered receiver. And, of course, it doesn't work out, and it goes completely the other way for a touchdown.
It also really drives a stake into the heart of the Ferentz argument of, a guy who doesn't hurt you, especially in that situation. You're in the red zone in a close game, and as you said, Andy, take a sack there. And McNamara, for the most part, has been pretty good at making those decisions.
Yes,
that was a terrible decision, and it kind of gave away any hope that I think anybody had of, okay, he's going to figure this out.
In that moment, it felt a little bit to me like the Citrus Bowl. There was a point where the Citrus Bowl against Tennessee, it reached the point where I remember posting that I'm uncomfortable watching Deacon Hill still in this game. He's lost all confidence. He's thrown a pick six. He's thrown other interceptions. He's going to throw another one. He should not be out there. Please, for the love of God, get this guy out of the game. It's making everybody here uncomfortable. And then they did finally take him out. And Linez provided a little bit of spark. He was an accurate passer, but at least he could move, and Deacon Hill could not. Brendan Sullivan comes in, and other than touchdowns and Caitlin Clark and the women's basketball team being introduced, the loudest ovation in the first half is when Sullivan runs out onto the field and the fans see, okay, finally. And the first drive stalled, but eventually Sullivan's mobility opens things up for Caleb Johnson.
3rd down and 1. Caleb Johnson runs straight ahead. Big hole. He's at the 15. 10. Runs through a tackle. Spins away from another one. Goal line. Touchdown, Iowa. Touchdown. Touchdown. Number 2 is number 1 again.
That's Gary Dolphin on the Hawkeye Network, courtesy of Learfield. And yeah, it feels like Caleb Johnson had even more yards than he did because his touchdown runs were spectacular.
Yeah, they were great. And, of course, he's a great back, but the fact that Sullivan is there providing another situation for the defense to have to be aware of and prepared for, of course, that's going to open up more room for Caleb Johnson, and only every single Hawkeye fan has been saying that for the entire season.
Third quarter, this time Sullivan scores.
Here's a keeper by Sullivan, gets the corner, turn, touchdown! Touchdown, Iowa! Fake the handoff again to Johnson, and reached for the pylon and got over.
So he provides something to worry about for the defense as well with his running. He missed some passes, but didn't miss them any more than Cade McNamara did. But I think the play, we don't have it here, but I think the play that most people will remember is when he does complete a pass and then hustles ahead to throw a block. That was
just before that
touchdown
touchdown
everybody
run.
Wanted to see.
Yeah, it was like, okay, there's our quarterback.
And I don't think you need to overly dissect this situation. He comes in, and the rest of the team is playing harder. The rest of the team responds. At least it looked that way. And does it matter? I mean, they looked like they were playing better, and they did play better.
They did play better. The results are there.
Yeah, we don't need to, strap a polygraph test on all of these guys. I mean, the proof was in the pudding. Every unit on that team appeared to get a spark from that change at quarterback. And from that point on, it was a completely, once they started rolling, once they started scoring, but really at the point they make that change, it's a completely different ball game in the stadium and on the field.
And then what everyone felt coming for a few weeks here finally happens. Weejan breaks the punt return.
Taken at the 15-yard line by Weejan. He breaks free. 20, 25.
Go.
It's a blocker. Midfield. 45, 40, 40, 35, 30. Still going. 25, 20, 10, 5. Goal line. Touchdown. Touchdown, Iowa. Touchdown, Hawkeyes. Caden Weejan finally gets what he deserves. An 85-yard punt return for a touchdown.
Gary Dolphin, courtesy of Learfield. So Pat Anger, you can hear him kind of laughing, euphoric giggling there. That must just be in the chair. Like you sit next to Dolph and a big positive Hawkeye play happens, and it just makes the analysts kind of start laughing with joy.
Well, and fans want it. Fans want that, right?
Yeah.
It shows that he's still a Hawkeye fan at heart.
All right, so going into next week, let's first listen to the post game. Here's Kirk Ferentz and Brendan Sullivan. This is from WHO 13's Mark Freund, who did a great job covering the game as always.
That's one of Brendan's strengths. He's a really good athlete and really good at that. And then the other thing is he commanded the game, which is no matter what your style is as a quarterback, you have to do that. So it was a really good outing.
Like everybody else, there's a lot to improve on, whether that's passing, whether that's running. I think decision making as well. I think it just adds another element to be able to run the ball. But definitely a lot of film to go back and look at and learn from. You don't have a guarantee to play anywhere you go. And then Iowa kind of just gave me an opportunity to compete, and I jumped at it.
It does seem as though Kirk Ferentz used that play. I would guess it would be the terrible pass, roughing the passer, that bad pass that roughing the passer is called, to say that McNamara was removed and this rotation was planned and this was the plan all along. Who knows what happened, but I know what has to happen now. You can't go back to Brendan Sullivan or back to Cade McNamara. You have to go to Brendan Sullivan. As AD said on Instant Iowa, Hawkeye fans will riot if Cade McNamara is out there for the first play.
Yeah, I agree. And no one out there believes that Kirk Ferentz needs a better excuse than Sullivan played better or the team played better for Sullivan to make that move. And yet I think we all know how much it pains Kirk Ferentz to have to say something like that. I mean, he will need to say something like Cade's a little banged up or something like that, or maybe not address it at all. And then, the announcers, of course, chime in and just have to ram it down our throats. Well, they were planning on playing Sullivan anyway. That was the plan all along. He was going to go ahead and get a series in the first half of this game. You're just like, okay, what other scenario does that ever happen?
Did you watch the previous games?
You're just like, I know they told you that, and I know that, you're going to get in trouble somehow. You think you're going to get in trouble if you don't say that, but that's ridiculous. Stop saying that.
And I don't care I really don't care what Kirk Ferentz has to say to, and this is part of the reason the players love him so much. I mean, he is always thinking about the players and the players' feelings, and he's certainly a man of empathy and all of that. I don't really care what he has to say or how he has to present it to the fans or the public or the announcers, whatever. You just got to have Brendan Sullivan. And barring an injury, you shouldn't see Cade McNamara the rest of this season. And I might even argue after watching the Citrus Bowl that even if something were to happen to Brendan Sullivan, give Marco Linez another chance. You can't go back to Cade McNamara.
I think you would like to hear Ferentz say something like that, though, as a fan, where you said, okay, we feel like Brendan gives us a better chance to win. You would like to hear that. Otherwise, we've been in this scenario before where somebody else comes in and you like what you see, and then he goes back to that starting quarterback anyway. It's almost like, he's trying to quit smoking, and he's just like, well, look, I'm just going to keep the cigarettes on the top of the refrigerator. I'm not going to touch them, but I'm going to leave them there, okay? Just out of reach. I don't like to waste something. Those were paid for. And, you're just like, no. You got to get them out. You got to throw them in the garbage. You got to tear them up. You got to remove them all together and say, I am getting rid of these cigarettes. I mean, it's kind of like that. I mean, I honestly, because I think Sullivan is going to be the starter, but I think everybody would just like that little extra piece of reassurance.
I think you can make this whole week easier by just making the change on the depth chart and talking about it tomorrow. Take the suspense out of it. Everybody saw this game and has seen the rest of the season. And I don't think anybody needs to get it twisted either that anyone is suggesting that Brendan Sullivan is an all Big Ten caliber quarterback or anything like that. But he makes the offense better. It fits Leicester's system much better. It opens things up for Caleb Johnson. It gives Iowa a better shot at winning. The leadership spark is there. Everything about it makes sense. And the move needs to be made, and I think it will be made. I don't know how it will be presented to the public, but I think it will be made. DJV125 on the YouTube comments writes, Kirk tried everything he could for Cade. Dude took a suspension for going and getting him. True. But if he starts Saturday, 69,000 plus should just turn around and walk out. That's not going to happen, but that's a strong statement. But it's a night game on national TV on WHO 13 and NBC.
Yeah, you would hear a lot from that crowd if that happened.
Rightfully so, too. I mean, that would be such a slap in the face to every Hawkeye fan, more so than any of these other past situations that we've seen. This is as clear as it's ever been that you've been starting the wrong guy.
And that's what you can say if you're any coach. We saw a tangible result when Sullivan went into the game.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was on paper. It's on paper now. It's on the field. It was on the field then. It's on paper now. It is in all of the conversations regarding this football team in this state and probably in this conference right now. And you just don't need to delve any further than that. I do wonder, this is kind of one of those epiphanies where, something bad had to happen for something good to happen. And we can remember the other times that you've seen that in fan history. Whether it's Beathard saying, look, either I'm the starting quarterback or I'm leaving. If this is going to end up going down as one of the more memorable plays in the recent history of Kirk Ferentz football at Iowa, that pick six that Cade McNamara threw.
There's not a bunch left on the table for Iowa relative to the goals that fans and players clearly had for this season. And you don't really have a big chance to be spoiler because Nebraska's not in any kind of Big Ten championship contention or college playoff contention. Wisconsin's not either.
There are at least two games, though, that fans really care about on this schedule.
First one coming up Saturday night, move to NBC Prime. And we have a quickie poll. It's from WCI Pools and Spas.
Let me get that back up here. As a college football fan, are you tired of night games? Yes or no?
I am. I'm tired of them, and I've been to one. I've watched some on TV. I'm tired of them. Yes, I would like to see more
I
day
think
games.
We've got kind of a different perspective because we've just seen so many between Iowa and Iowa State this year. I think, just in general, do I dislike night games in college football? No. I like college football at any time of the day, but for this season, I've seen enough, and I would like some more day games to break it up.
They lose the specialness that you had a few years ago where it was like, oh, Kinnick under the lights. It's like once a year you get this big game, and now it's week in and week out. You're going to 8 o'clock out on next Friday in UCLA. You already had the night game up in Minnesota. You've had several at Kinnick. It's just it loses the special thing it had when you do it every week.
Getting a real break from the weather gods here, too, because it's not going to be miserable at all as far as the cold goes, but you can get late October games at Kinnick Stadium or Jack Trice Stadium that are rough. But it's going to be nice weather again for this game. Iowa State will play Texas Tech for homecoming Saturday. Iowa State around a 15-point favorite. Cyclones fell to number 11 in the AP poll, passed by Notre Dame. If you're a Cyclone fan, of course that's annoying. It doesn't really mean that much, but it is annoying. I mean, Notre Dame lost at home to Illinois State. Imagine what people would be saying if Iowa State had lost at home to a MAC team that's now 1-3. That would drop Iowa State like a rock. But it doesn't seem to be that bad for Notre Dame. They're going to keep moving up. But I think we all recognize that a one-loss Notre Dame team is going to be in the college football playoff. It's just going to happen. But Andy, I wouldn't get too caught up in the poll stuff. This isn't the poll that matters. Mm-hmm. Just keep winning, and Iowa State controls its destiny to the college football playoff.
Yeah, it's too early. You can't help but look ahead and be like, okay, what if we do everything that we need to do, or almost everything that we need to do, and then we have to, be compared to Notre Dame with everybody reminding us that, well, we're putting on a television program here and we're trying to get as many eyes as possible, and there are more Notre Dame. And you're like, oh yeah, I know how that argument goes. But I mean, right now there's just too much work still to do for Iowa State, and they have a number of difficult games in front of them. I mean, where I think you can just kind of imagine the scenarios. I mean, difficult games for them. It's going to be something that they just need to keep taking week by week. And I think actually there is some rain in the forecast, at least for central Iowa this weekend.
I just saw that from the bus there, so I'm checking what
I don't know what
Ed Wilson has to say.
Yeah, I don't know
here.
what Iowa City looks like, but I think
40% chance of rain in Iowa City Saturday.
Okay. They got the
high
same thing.
of 60, low of 40. I have to ask.
Still not real cold, but rain in the forecast is not something that we haven't had any rain.
Yeah,
in the college football season this year.
It looks like the rain is not going to hit Iowa City until, well, this way it looks now, till 10:30 or so, which the game should be over by then. But yeah, even the threat of rain is enough to make people a little bit nervous about that. Let's get into some more hot topics here on a Murph and Andy Monday. The Bears, AD, I'm sorry. Sorry about this. The Bears lose in painful fashion, such painful fashion, you wonder if this is one of those plays that can spin an entire season out. The Commanders have one final play. They've been allowed to throw with no timeouts to throw a 15-yard out to get in position to where Jaden Daniels can throw the ball 65 yards and with a tipped pass, get it to go back into the end zone for a potential touchdown. And of course, by now, you know, that is what happens.
Daniels backing up. He's just going to have to let one fly. Goes to the right side. Steps away from the defenders. Gives himself some time. Now steps up, fires. Heads towards the end zone. It is
Wow. That's not the Bears radio network.
Sure isn't.
That's the Commanders. And sports is just the best when something like this happens. And I've heard Bears fans crying about the holding. Of course, there's holding. There's holding on virtually every play in the NFL. It's just whether it's called or you get away with it or whether you're egregious with the hold. They're not calling holding on that play.
Knock the damn ball down.
And the Bears have like a spy whose only job on that play is to shadow Jaden Daniels. Like, are you worried about him running a 60-yard touchdown on that play? That seems like a waste of a defensive player. And then, Andy, as I'm sure you've seen, this all goes up a notch when video emerges of Bears cornerback Tyreek Stevenson smack talking with the fans while the play is going. And he ends up being the guy who tips the ball. Here he is, if you're watching on YouTube.
It's back to the play.
Back to the play. Now he's going to come over, and he's the guy that instead of batting it down, tips it up. And Noah's not blocked out here.
Yeah.
Wow. Brutal.
He kind of keeps drifting off to the side there. even after he's gotten back into the play, kind of goes back over there. It must have been a weird assignment there. But, I mean, just the risk-reward ratio on this move by him is just so out of whack. I mean, you understand, like, if somehow this ball does fall incomplete, then he's got a story to tell. He feels like he's got a story to tell for the rest of his life, where he didn't even pay attention. He's just, all he's doing is jawing with the fans. But the risk is so great here. I mean, it now goes down as one of the biggest boneheaded plays that any Bear fan can ever remember. And maybe it goes down. This is an NFL history type bonehead play. This is a Leon Lett type play.
It's a really terrible look.
Yeah, and the Bears getting so much better this year and really kind of battling with the Commanders.
Yeah.
Where they're kind of on the same level this year, a couple of teams that have risen from the dead. And, the fact that he's the one that actually hit that ball is just next level.
He did apologize. AD, do you accept Tyreek Stevenson's apology?
No, he should be cut.
He should be cut.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
he should be cut.
Whatever. That sucked. I mean, the odds of that play happening, to let Jaden Daniels run around like that, as you pointed out, Murph, the play before that, to allow them to just take 15 yards and give him a chance to get the ball to the end zone. How do you not have a guy who's the last guy? How is there not just a line in the end zone? They can catch it on the 5. Who cares?
Well, one of the guys has his back turned to the play and is jawing with fans.
Yeah,
that's how that happened.
Well, I mean, it is mostly luck that happened, right? I mean, that the ball just happened to tip that way. I mean, it ricocheted off someone's hand
Stevenson
into somebody else, right? I mean, but you have no idea which direction that's going or how much of the ball he's going to get or if he's going to get a clean shot of the ball or somebody else will tip it after that. I mean, there's a ton of chance here, but it just looks so perfectly executed because this guy is standing behind the entire gaggle of defenders and other receivers all alone in the end zone, and it just falls right to him.
The biggest thing is we don't know how important this loss is to the Bears. If it turns out they miss a wild card because of one game, if Jaden Daniels is Rookie of the Year, like he probably will be, over Caleb Williams because he has one more touchdown or something. Like, I mean, at the end of the season, we'll know how bad this was.
Really cool to see those guys out there, those two young quarterbacks. Also, Joe Abdo was the Commanders fan who shot that video that took all of this coverage up a notch.
We got an Ed Wilson update here in the comments.
Oh, let's hear it.
The best chance for rain on Saturday will be later in the day, most likely after the game, and then updates coming your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on Channel 13.
Look at Ed getting the plug in there. That's a pro, Andy. That's a veteran move. He answers our question, also promotes the newscast.
Yep.
Well done, Ed. 2 Cy-Hawk connections on the same day in the NFL for the first time. Brock Purdy to George Kittle for a 20th time. That stat courtesy of KWWL's Mark Woodley. And for the first time, David Montgomery, Chuck Bruce to Sam Laporta.
Porta in motion, toss play. Montgomery wants to throw to the end zone. There's the touchdown for Sam Laporta. On his National Tight End Day touchdown, but he got it from a running back in David Montgomery.
Lions Radio Network there. How fun was that?
That's a really nice pass, too. A nice tight spiral. I think people envision that, the conversation between Laporta and Montgomery after that pass. Dude, that's a better pass than I saw in college. I mean, that was a really sweet pass. I mean, did you see that thing?
He's a former quarterback.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
He's still short and, dressed as a running back with running back pads on. That's a perfect pass.
Oh, yeah. That was a nice play. Lions look great. Now it's time for fun with audio. Here's a drunk Howard Cosell on Monday Night Football in Philadelphia shortly before he threw up on Don Meredith's boots. Cosell would miss the second half with what Cosell called a virus.
Philadelphia, 13-9 Giants, halftime score. Tough game. Don Meredith A lot of people thought that the Giant transformation from inefficiency to total efficiency was unreal. Your comment?
Well, I think the Giants are doing a fine job. They pulled everything together. They seem to have, again, I hate to use this, but the momentum that is necessary to be a winning ball club. And I know Tarkington and Fales are the guys that are doing it, I think.
You're absolutely right. Back to Keith.
Hey, back to me.
We all think we sound normal when we're drunk, right?
And really, until Don Meredith starts talking, you're like, okay, it's not all. And then you hear somebody speaking clearly. It's yikes.
And Don Meredith probably had a couple of cocktails. But
Philadelphia, 13-9 Giants, halftime score.
There's one word in there where it just gives it away on them.
Philadelphia. My goodness.
I did that a few months back.
Threw up on somebody's boots?
No, we went out for sushi, and I had a bunch of shots of Hennessy and stuff. And
jeez.
So Kahala drove home, and I recorded this video of myself, I think thinking that I didn't sound that bad.
I hope you're about to play it.
No, I don't think I could play this. It might do my political career. But I am so drunk in the video, and I'm slurring, and then I get the hiccups right in the middle. The hiccups come on, and I still thought I sounded okay. And it's funny because I'm holding the phone up. I'm in the passenger side and, kind of tilting the phone over. And then you see Kahala in the background as she's driving, and she's like this. She's just like, shut up, you drunken idiot. Put that phone away. And
Jenny Saturday night after tailgating was just interrogating people. Somehow somebody started talking about Jim Gaffigan's Hot Pockets bit. And Jenny started interrogating each person we'd see as to what kind of Hot Pocket they liked. And singing that, that Hot Pocket.
So so you're saying Jenny was drunk?
No, I wouldn't say that. Not in a public forum like this.
It's the
reminder
long way around.
Grimaldi's fan photos to Murph_Andy at Iowa everywhere. Here's last week's winner, Christine Megason and her family. Look how happy they are.
We love that.
They're enjoying the gift card at the West Des Moines location. That's a good-looking family.
Yeah, that they're all very, very happy about that. Looks like they got a full meal. We're glad to see that. Love to see
those are empty
feedback.
Plates. Yeah. You take the kids out, they're going to eat all of the food.
Yeah. What is that? Is that box a prop? There's no way that family had one pizza and they had leftovers.
Like, hey, can you put a box here for the picture?
Yeah, just for the photo. Help us out. We'll name another winner coming up this Friday on Murph and Andy. Time now for Throwdowns.
Throwdowns. It's Throwdowns. Backed by Heartland Tire and Auto.
Let's throw it down. We appreciate Heartland Tire and Auto and their continued support. Andy, Caleb Johnson is about 700 yards shy of Sean Green's all-time single-season record at Iowa, about 500 short of Tavian Banks, about 300 short of Cedric Shaw to round out that top three. Iowa has 4 games and a potential bowl game remaining. Where will Caleb Johnson rank at the end of this season?
I would say I think he'll probably be 3. I don't know. I mean, geez, he could break out for a 200-yard game here. I mean, this guy can really eat up yards. I guess I don't think of him yet in the same breath with Sean Green. Maybe it's just because it's been such a pleasant surprise this year and we didn't have the ramp up. He's also just not on one of those classic teams. And that probably hurts him, but he is a legit great back. And there's no doubt. I do not see him at Iowa next year.
AD, are you asking where he ranks as a running back or where he will rank regards to the yards?
Where's he going to get to?
Okay. I think he'll get second. First is not out of the question, as you know, and also they now add bowl games to the total. That wasn't always the case. So with the bowl game, I think there's a really good chance he ends up first if he stays healthy, especially if the change to Brendan Sullivan is permanent, as it should be. Then I think with the bowl, Caleb Johnson is going to end up 1. I think in the regular season, he's going to pass Cedric Shaw and probably Tavian Banks because he's that good. The line is better, and Sullivan gives the defense something else to worry about. So that'll be one more reason to keep checked in on the season.
Also, 16 touchdowns already. 20 is the single season record.
That he's gonna have.
Yeah, he's gonna have that.
Murph, I still watch football one game at a time, but many people go to the quad box or even an octo box like Chris Hassel here in this picture. Which do you prefer, one game at a time or all games at once?
I've learned this about myself. I was so excited through the YouTube TV to be able to quad box, triple box, double box, all of that stuff. And I sat down and I was all fired up. I thought, gosh, how lucky am I? I never thought this day would come. It's too much for me. I'm overstimulated. I end up not paying very much attention to any one game. And I find the experience borderline frustrating. I can't do it. It's like when I think I can scroll my phone and have a conversation with somebody at the same time, but I'm not doing either one very well, or reading and and I get from Jenny are you even listening to me? What? Repeat back what I just said. That kind of thing. So no, I can't do this. I got to stay away from it.
Yeah, I mean, it has its applications. It's got its time. If you're at a tailgate party and you're talking with people, you're not really paying attention to any of the games, but you'd like to kind of keep track of them. It's great. Everybody can check in on all these games. And if one does get really close, you can pop that up full. If you're at home and you don't really have one game that you're focused on, I can see using it. But man, I mean, if I were Iowa State is playing, I just can't imagine doing this in that situation.
Yeah, even games I don't care that much about. You're right. If it's on in the background, that's one thing. But if I'm trying to watch, LSU, Texas A&M, I can't have 3 other games going on. It's too much. I'm too old, I guess. All right, Murph. I started working out again after a long layoff due to the health issues I had all summer.
That's like game day tea rushing through your veins.
That's exactly right. I was like, I got to take advantage of this. I had some fun putting together a hard rock playlist for myself to go lift to. What do you listen to when you work out?
Opera. Listen to opera or bluegrass. No, I same thing. I listen to really upbeat. I do have my own workout playlist that just as you're saying here, I did not call it beast mode.
Yeah, this isn't mine, by the way. Just
okay.
Put that out
I
there.
wanted you to call your playlist beast mode.
Maybe I'll change it.
I think I was so clever.
I think it's hammer called curls with like a 95-pound dumbbell there.
I think mine is cleverly named workout, the playlist. But yeah, it's all hard driving, upbeat songs. You're hoping will give you a little extra push.
Yeah, right. I think mine is called workout mix creatively. Honestly, though, I'm to the point now where I listen to podcasts while I'm working out. Remember Sipker telling us that he was working out to the Dave Ramsey podcast, which is really funny. Yeah, he was doing that for a long time. But I listen to a podcast, and I do that for the most part. Although I will say on Friday morning, I was tired. I had eaten a bunch of pizza before I went to bed the night before, and I was not jazzed about going to Farrell's. And I was driving to Farrell's, and Ozzy Osbourne's Bark at the Moon comes on, and man, 2 bars into that Jakey Lee riff there at the beginning of this, I was ready to go, man. I was pumped. That's all it took.
Power of music.
There's throwdowns.
Confluence is the official beer of Murph and Andy, and I was reminded of how good Confluence beer is this past weekend when I had a beer that absolutely sucked. It was not a Confluence beer. So,
what kind of beer was it? Was it locally produced? Was it locally made?
Yes. Yes.
I told you to stop drinking those, right? You took one sip and spit it out at our tailgate. Did you get more of those?
I can't give them away.
Okay, I've got a case in the basement if you would like more.
Do you have Confluence? I'd rather have that. I do.
Those are gone. Well, no, I think I do have one of those. I may still have one.
All right, let's get some
But you
more
can't
here
have it.
on a Monday.
But wait, there's more. From Either Or Eatery and Patio.
We got a little video of Either Or here, courtesy of Matt Van Winkle. Check this out. Yeah, this is inside Either Or Eatery and Patio. This is 6222 Grand Avenue. Look at that old-fashioned. That's perfect.
Jeez.
They, of course, have the beautiful outdoor playground and the patio seating. Look at that cute corgi puppy there. Oh, my God. But inside, oh, man, look at the smash burgers. And we went there on Friday night. They have switched over their menu, have kind of a fall theme to the menu. They switched up, not all the items, but a number of them. And we had steak tartare and the crab cake. And we had the handmade cavatelli with mushroom garlic sauce, which is just incredible. So check it out,
cozy,
Either Or.
Very cozy.
Edge of Des Moines and West Des Moines. Good service to boot. All right, let's begin, guys, with the national anthem. But it's hockey season, so let's do it on skates with a giant mullet.
That guy falls down when he hits the carpet with his skate, and he keeps going. I mean, I'm impressed.
Well, then he tries to get up twice and keeps stepping on the carpet.
It looked a little bit like round guy skating.
It did a little bit. I don't think it was.
Hey, real quick. Some breaking news here. Iowa has released its depth chart for the Wisconsin game. Cade McNamara does not appear on it.
So he's hurt. He's hurt. He can't go. Yep.
So, Hawkeye fans rejoice, baby. We got a new quarterback.
Those cigarettes made their way to the garbage can outdoors. Well, not outside, inside. It's an inside garbage can.
Well, this gives Kirk Ferentz the kind of cover that he likes to give a senior leader and somebody who he clearly thinks a lot of. When I say cover, it doesn't mean Cade McNamara's not injured. He probably is. But this makes it easier for everybody.
Well, we haven't had a rainy evening in months, and we have finally got one in the forecast. It is this Wednesday, which happens to be Beggar's Night in Des Moines, West Des Moines, a number of other communities in the metro. Halloween night, though, the next night is supposed to be dry. And last Saturday was perfect for trick-or-treating in places like Windsor Heights, Grimes, Perry, and Bondurant. I am told West Des Moines will push out a petition this Thursday to gauge community interest in permanently moving trick-or-treating to the Saturday before Halloween.
Wow.
Getting rid of this Beggar's Night nonsense. Putting it on Saturday permanently, like those other communities that I just mentioned. Did you see the pictures like from Williams in Bondurant when he was out there with his family? It's a whole community event. Everybody's getting into it. That's perfect. That's what you should do. As long as it's not a
football game that you care about.
Yeah.
Well, so what?
What about that?
Who cares?
What about that?
Sometimes Beggar's Night would fall on that. Sometimes Halloween would fall on that. And whatever, keep the game on in the background.
But not every year.
It doesn't,
not every Saturday.
It doesn't last all that long. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I guess
you're going to be fine.
I don't really understand the people who are pissed off that trick-or-treating is not on Halloween and they want to move it to like October 25th, because that makes more sense.
Well, it makes more sense to either A, have it on Halloween where it's supposed to be, or if you've got a mobile holiday, which we have given ourselves, put it someplace good like Saturday night, not on Monday or Sunday or Tuesday, Wednesday, a weeknight, school night, work night.
Yeah,
that's
but
terrible.
Saturdays are already
Saturday's
fun.
perfect.
You don't need to inject something fun into Saturday. I get a drink on Wednesday night this week.
Yeah, but you have to get up and work the next day. Saturday, you don't. Saturday will become one of the great adult party nights of the entire year. If they
not if you're trick or treating.
Oh yeah, let's make it all about the adults. I'm tired of the kids getting all the attention.
I'm sorry. Have a babysitter take your kids trick or treating?
No, the parents do. They walk around with a Yeti full of Fireball. Haven't you done this before?
I have. That's what I'm saying. I get to do that on Wednesday night, and last Saturday I could have attended a real adult Halloween party.
Yeah, but then you can come home, put the kids there with their candy, and then turn it up a notch. No, this is genius. It becomes one of the great party nights of the entire year. Two are crazy. Here is your gentle reminder to prepare for the end of daylight saving time, or it could knock you back. At 2 a.m. local time next Sunday, we set our clocks back an hour. While it's great we get extra sleep, there are some cons. They'll always point this out like this is a huge deal, like dealing with it getting darker earlier. One of the best ways to prepare you and your pets, don't forget to prepare your pets for daylight saving time. Gradually move dinner time and bedtime back this week so that by Saturday night, your adjustment will already have been made.
Andy, I don't think our pets can tell time.
They're too old.
I just don't think they can tell
Yeah,
time.
I guess honestly, as a non-pet owner, how could daylight savings time affect your pets?
I don't know. We have two of the hungriest dogs in the world, and they know when it's time for breakfast.
Do they
and
wear
dinner.
watches?
They don't. They just have a sixth sense when it's time, and I can imagine them barking.
Also, I want to know from a parent of a young kid, like, does the thing you just suggested, does that actually work? Like, doing it slowly, does it make it better, or does it just make 6 nights suck instead of 2?
Never had the discipline to find out.
Yeah, you're the parent of the young kid.
Yeah, I'm not going to do this. I'd rather just... this Saturday night is going to be dedicated to, this is going to suck, but we just bite down and do it.
That just sounds like, just like a lot of extra work and prepper, like you have nothing else to do in your life than prepare for daylight saving time.
Yeah, we got a trick-or-treat on Wednesday.
That whole hour, go out on your beggar's night. The $16 million second phase of the Unidome renovation plan at the University of Northern Iowa in Cedar Falls will go before the Iowa Board of Regents at its meeting in November. Phase 1 of the project, which ran $11.2 million, has been completed. Proposed upgrades to the bowl will provide Panther fans a variety of seating options and styles with increased comfort and high-end amenities, according to still new AD Megan Franklin.
Well, you and I, the football team, has lost 6 in a row. Ooh. I can't remember that happening.
Yeah, kind of a tough time to be tempting everybody with. Look, you got to keep these facilities up, though, and the Unidome is not going anywhere. They're not building anything new, so renovate that sucker and get it as nice as possible. This day in 1992, Duluth, Minnesota Mayor Gary Doty cuts the ribbon at the mouth of the brand new 1,480-foot-long Leif Erikson Tunnel on Interstate 35. And with the opening of the tunnel, the highway, I-35, which we know very, very well, is complete. It stretches 1,593 miles. Finished at last. Took a really, really long time, and it wasn't complete until that day in 1992, this day in 1992. As a result, the federal government announced the interstate highway system itself was 99.7% complete. So this was kind of controversial. The interstate system, which was originally intended to give Americans a fast way out of cities in case of nuclear attack, was a huge hit and really put Americans on the road, made us all a lot more mobile. You could get from one place to another a whole lot faster. It doomed routes like the Lincoln Highway and Route 66 stuff, but the interstate system, I think we all agree, was a great thing. But as it went through cities, and certainly went through downtown Des Moines, it kind of wreaked havoc. Really, it
laid waste to a lot of businesses.
Destroyed neighborhoods and businesses. It cut a lot of people off from services. A lot of times they went on bridges, kind of over parts of the city, and nobody likes living under a bridge. It was kind of tough, and in Duluth, by the early '60s, people had kind of gotten sick of that. They didn't want any more of that, and the interstate, I-35 in this case, was actually going to cut between downtown Duluth and the Lake Superior shore, which people in downtown Duluth like to look at the Lake Superior shore. So they were really protesting against this. They didn't want it at all. And what they did was come up with a compromise. They dug this tunnel and they actually put a giant city park on the top of it And people who had been protesting against it suddenly turned tables and began advocating for this, and it ended up becoming a pretty big hit, and it is quite a landmark there in Duluth if you hadn't seen that before. All right, we'll finish with this from babycenter.com. The top baby names in America have not changed much in the past year. In fact, the top 7 boys' names are exactly the same as they were in 2023. For the girls, the name Sarah has dropped out of the top 100 for the first time in 60 years.
I know several Sarahs. Sarah had a good run.
There were so many when I was a kid.
Yeah, Heather had a run. Sarah had a run.
For sure. Yeah, Julie, Jennifer, those kind of names. Don't hear those so much anymore. Top 10 girls' names in 2024: Olivia, Amelia, Emma, Sophia, Charlotte, Isabel, Ava, Mia, Ellie, and Luna. I think I know
Luna. Okay.
I don't know a Luna, but I think I know every other
Amelia,
name.
like Earhart.
Luna's a Harry Potter reference also.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of millennial parents.
It also means Muna, I think, in other languages. The top 10 boys' names: Noah, Liam, Oliver, Elijah, Mateo, Lucas, Levi, Ezra, Asher, and Leo.
Leo
Your
was my
name,
dad's
Murph?
name, yeah, and he never liked his name.
And he was probably one of the only Leos for a long time, right?
I didn't know other
Did you know any
Leos.
others?
No, I didn't. Leonardo DiCaprio came along, but
That was Leonardo.
yeah, maybe his friends called him Leo. I don't know.
Other than Uncle Leo from Seinfeld, I didn't think I knew any other ones. That's your more, everybody.
Sponsor shout out of the day, Ramsey Subaru. Want to, again, say well done here for the Saturday pet adoption with A. Hines 57. Andy, those 2 dogs there, those look like good dogs.
Yeah, those are the Fales dogs. They went as casual observers, but were very interested in playing with all the other dogs and all the other people. And yeah, it was really fun. The weather was perfect. Food truck and ice cream truck. They got a lot of people on the lot, so it was nice to be over there. And the dogs appreciated getting out. They got a little Subaru toy and a Frisbee, and Lewis promptly chewed those things to bits by the time we got home.
Well, an adopted dog seems to have a extra level of love for his new human. So thank you to all who participated in that. And thank you, Ramsey Subaru, for doing that. We appreciate it. It is time for the Andrew Downs audio drop of the day. We call it the AD Squared.
And it is powered by Game Day Men's Health. You can find them locally in Ankeny in the Prairie Trail neighborhood. They're out in West Des Moines on University. In Eastern Iowa, head up to North Liberty. That's where you'll find them. And yeah, I'm a month into my testosterone shots, and I do really kind of start to feel it. I know over the next couple of weeks, that's when they say it really is going to take hold. And but I've been to the gym, which I wasn't able to do because of my health issues all summer long. And
there you go.
And so that was fun. And yeah, I'm feeling good. So check it out at Game Day. They'll give you a consultation, quick blood draw, let you know what you need if you need anything.
You're going to need all this because one of my friends, Doug, he asked me. He was like, it was a compliment because he's saying I really enjoy the show on YouTube because I like all the visual elements and all of that. He's like, but who directs the show? Like who's punching the show? I was like, that's also AD. There's a lot going on over there. What you're doing, not only tracking the audio, but these photos and
also I've never had to be on camera before. Like
yeah, you're
on
camera.
It's kind of weird for me.
You're spinning plates. You got a lot going on at once, and we're getting it figured out, and you're doing a great job. But I think what I'm trying to say is I think the tea is a good idea.
Yeah,
you need some
I appreciate
extra
it.
help.
I need a little extra help. If the NFL was going to do an odd couple, I'm not sure you could find a better pair than George Kittle and Brock Purdy. I mean, one's a Hawkeye, one's a Cyclone, one's pretty mild-mannered, one's kind of a nut. And this was all on display last night after the 49ers' big win over the Cowboys in the postgame.
Doesn't it? It fits well. We'll see what happens.
I don't know if it'll fit your waist.
It might fit Brock.
But enjoy. It might fit Brock.
It's George's world. We're just living in it.
All right, guys, enjoy your belts.
And they just they seem like they have such a good chemistry. They genuinely like each other, but you couldn't find two different dudes.
You can see it when they walk up in their outfits. Like Purdy does look like he just came from Kohl's, and then Kittle is wearing like WWE stuff and crazy hair and
Yeah, it looks like
chains
he's from
and
Burning Man.
yeah. It is so different. Quickie poll results presented by WCI Pools and Spas.
As a college football fan, are you tired of night games? 62% say no at this point. They still like them. 38% will go with yes. Yeah, it's kind of a tough question. I mean, overall, I still like night games, but I am tired of seeing the Hawkeyes and Cyclones in night games this year.
The worst is when they're both playing at 6:30. That was a couple of weeks ago. That just stinks. This week we're back to back. You got the Iowa State's homecoming game, and not a small thing. We'll talk about it more Wednesday, but Iowa State wins, as they're heavily favored to do, and they're 8-0 for the first time in 130 years of Iowa State football. It's a big deal.
Wow. Just keep on saying that, right? The rest of the year.
Yeah.
As long as they keep winning.
That's the way it goes.
Keep
Well, thank you for being part of Murph and Andy. We appreciate it. Again, you can help us by subscribing to Iowa Everywhere on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. We're building something. We're building something here, something special at Iowa Everywhere. It's been going for a while, thanks to Chris Williams, and we're glad to join the party here, and we're glad you're joining the party as well. We're back Wednesday, and we hope you are too.